So, it's been hot. It's a heat wave for here. It's the worst time of year to have a heat wave. There's a risk of forest fire. It's very high. And I just need to make it to the rainy season without a forest fire. Because I fought them here before. I got a great video on that. Very fun. Yay. Good for the soil. Forest fires are not inherently bad, but they're kind of bad if they burn your buildings down or kill people. So, my solar power's out, so I'm using a generator for that. And that means I have to use a generator to pump water as well. Although my pump is too big, it's too powerful, so my little generator, this one, Honda EU 2000i, beautiful generator, isn't it cute? Works great if you can't use solar, which I need to get a whole solar power system, a coherent one that's well designed and has way more power than I've had, which is only 340 watts of power. 340 watts ain't nothing, you know, and it means I can't have other people here using computers or, you know, doing creative shit like they should be doing. Now in this case, since I don't have the solar power and my pump is too big, it's over there. Can't see it from here, but I have to pump water using a bigger generator, which I luckily own one of. Unfortunately, it was damaged and a big piece of it fell off, this piece right here. And I took it to the metal guy, the metalworking guy, and they're great guys. They know what they're doing. So they fixed it up. But then it didn't work. I tried it when I got it back from them, and I tried it right then, and it was fine. But then I got it home, and it didn't work. I couldn't start it. Well, I took it down into town again, and all these town runs are hard fucking shit to do. Like the road's bumpy, my van is dying. It's difficult. So, you know, it makes you just want to sell the place and move to a condo and have a normal life, which is tempting. But not to me, because I'd rather die. And I might. Anyway, the cool guy who knows about machines, like this one, look, 3,550 watts. That's great. He changed the spark plug, and now it works. And it's a little bit broken because a piece fell off of it, so the clutch is a little bit hard. I'm going to try and start this guy and then plug in my pump, which will pump water up to a Tanaka over there, and then I'll have water again in my kitchen, which I haven't had for around a week or so. My kitchen's a big dirty mess. It's usually a dirty mess, but it's an extra dirty mess. Like, just think of really gross and then triple that. I can be a very gross person, I guess. All right, so I got my broken choke thing all set. I've got it turned on. Oh, beautiful. Plug in the fucking cord. And I'm running this out of my van. I'm running it out of my van because I'm not strong enough to pick up that generator and carry it to a better place. You need two people for it. It's too big an object. Now, the other question is it working? I hear water flowing into that cistern up there. That is really, 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 really great. So I'm going to have water again, even though it's taken a week to get it done. And that's going to overflow suddenly. When it does overflow, I need to immediately unplug. I guess I can stand down here. I need to immediately unplug the generator, which is down here somewhere. Right here. So I could unplug the pump, and then I'll turn off the generator. Now this probably seems like a minor thing, and it is minor. But I'll tell you this. When you're the power company, when you're the fire department, when you are the water department, when you are the road maintenance company, when you are everything, when you're every service that the city provides you, you're it. It's a lot of work. And normally it's not a lot. I mean, if you do it right, if you have better designs than I have. Okay, my place does not have good designs. And some of that's my fault. I built some things that were not built correctly. Or just I realized I can do better. You know, like I've got a solar dehydrator up there, and I want to make a building-sized one. I want to make a solar sauna. There's so many things I want to do better. And I have all this space and imagination, and I've had years to think about it, where I can do better than what normal society has provided. But of course I'm totally out of money, and you know, I'm going to have to scrape together change, I mean, to pay for anything. I did buy a beer, which is a waste of money. But I have to have some kind of pleasure in my life. At least now I'll be able to cook some food that I like better. And I can wash some dishes that are currently covered in mold. And I can give my dogs water better, easier. I mean, I have other water, okay? It's not like this is my only water system. But my other water is 150 yards that way in a building that's been taken over by animals. My other water is in a building up there that I don't want to waste right now because I still have to make it through another month of potentially dry season, right? So it's just difficult. And so when people talk about going off grid, sometimes I see their videos and it's all like amazing shit, but understand they paid a lot for that. There's a lot of people's videos who are just like fantasy land. And there's other people's videos that are really great. I mean, you know, they're living in very minimal circumstances, and they're willing to do that. They're usually younger than I am, and they're more energetic, and they're more new to it. Well, I've been out in the woods for 20 fucking years now, and to be honest, this is not new or fun for me particularly. And I don't like driving into town for anything, and that's a design problem. I mean, I don't even like pumps. You know, pumps break. I have a broken pump over there. I've got a pump over there that was broken, but I gave it away so someone might try and fix it. And also that cistern over there that holds 110,000 liters of water is almost empty. I opened it up the other day. Why is it almost empty? Well, it was somebody who was helping me. Be very careful if anybody wants to help you. Left the tap open, and I didn't notice that for at least a day, maybe two, I forget. So it was just, the hose was just dumping water onto the ground, and I don't walk over there and check on shit, so that's annoying. Or worst case is that cistern has broken, which is entirely possible, because there was like 3 years where that cistern didn't work at all. And that it had a crack in it. It's a stone cistern, right? It's huge. And that's why I'm against stone cisterns. I like cisterns like this one right here, right? And the thing is, I don't use much water. I've adjusted my lifestyle to use less water. This is absolutely important. Right now, people are all desperate about water around here. And they're going to be desperate everywhere. I mean, California is a good example, where they have a pretty high population of, you know, rich people who think they know what they're doing, but they're sucking water out of the aquifers for agriculture that is not going to be sustainable. And so they're going to lose an income for the state. They're not going to, you know, be able to water their lawn, which they shouldn't have a lawn anyway. And I guess at least they'll make some movies about it before they realize they have an unsustainable location for the population they have living the way that they do. And they might change how they live. This pump's really fast. So I gotta be careful I don't overflow too much. It will overflow. That's my goal though. And it's also gonna mix up all the crap that's in there into the water. So it's gonna be dirty water for a while. Because there's like old leaves and things in there. And I drink that water. I drink unfiltered rainwater. Don't do that. I cannot tell you to do that because you might get sick, and don't fucking blame me because you listen to some weirdo on the internet. So, but I drink it, and I've been doing that for almost 20 years. I didn't start out doing it right away, but you know, pretty soon when I got here, I was like, well, I mean, what's really going to happen? And I still don't know that. I could die of something I get from water that was captured off of a fairly dirty roof that, you know, animals live on, and who knows what. But my immune system is probably awesome. But even if you have an awesome immune system, you could still just die, you know, because you have some disease thing you got from drinking unfiltered rainwater. But I also don't care. I mean, I'm a science experiment. And so I wouldn't be willing to feed other people to give them unfiltered rainwater. I buy bottled water for them. And I should set up a filtration system here, a really good one. That's for when I have, you know, dozens or hundreds of people living here. But none of that is going to happen right away since I don't like people because they're so fucking mean and stupid. And that's a bad combination, mean and stupid. And I don't mean to call you that. You might be a sweetheart. You might be wonderful. I hope you are. But you're probably not flawed. And if you don't know you have flaws, that's one of your flaws. I know all the flaws I got. And people are very willing to tell me how fucked up I am by their standards. But they have different standards than I have, right? I think I'm a good person. And I know that I'm also a bad person by some other people's standards. And what's even worse is I know I'm a bad person by some of my own standards. That's painful. That's how shit goes. Alright, so that's got to be almost full now. So living off the grid is a great idea. More people should do it. It's easier than it's ever been before. And the key is that technology has improved greatly. The price of solar panels has gone down because even if we live on far less electricity, which is the big win, right? Even if we live on less electricity, there's still cost to it. And my advice would be to change your lifestyle so that you use electricity during the day when you have a lot of it and have a very small battery system by comparison so that you just have lights at night and you adjust your lifestyle to use electricity when it's available from the sun via photovoltaic, which you can't make your own photovoltaic cells at home probably. I can't. But that your battery system doesn't have to be maxed out to the level where you can use whatever the fuck electric you want for anything you want, anytime you want. Because one of the big lies when you say, like, well, how should I size my solar power system? People will say, oh, well, figure out how much electricity you use and then how much solar you need. No, 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 no. Start figuring out how to use way less electricity. In my case, I didn't even have a refrigerator. No air conditioning. Those are, I mean, heating and cooling are these big wastes of electricity. Cut all that shit out. Figure out how to use minimal electricity and then size your system to that or a little bit more. And the things I use electricity for are, I want to charge batteries for cameras and laptops and things like that. I want to be able to use internet. I have to power my internet dish, which I got Starlink, which uses more than the other one I had, but it's worth it, it's faster. And so the point is that you can figure out what's your minimal need and then size your system to that. That's a just opposite attitude, right? And after all these years and wanting to invite other people to be part of this experiment again as functional long-term people, I know that I need to size up significantly. 340 watts of old solar panels isn't good enough. So, and they've gotten so cheap now. I mean, you could buy a couple 550 watt panels for cheap, which is like 3 times what I have or more, since mine are old. I mean, one of them I have is a 40 watt old Chinese panel that's probably 35, 40 years old. I don't know how old it is. And that probably cost a lot when it was first purchased, but the prices have gone way down. Other technology improvements are LED lights. I only have LED lights. I have rechargeable headlamps and flashlights. My nights are dark currently, because my solar power system does not exist. The only electricity I have is from a generator. That's very, very bad. I'm burning gasoline to have power. That is a sin in my religion. I shouldn't ever do that, but I'm doing it because I have to get by until I can figure out how to make things work. And I have to figure out, this is the harder part, I talk to a lot of people, and lots of them have delusions of going and living off grid. A lot of them see that I am relatively successful at doing that, and I think I'm an amusing and fun guy, or used to be. I probably will be again. But I get contacted constantly by people I would never want to live near, with, or have any connection to at all. And it becomes really obvious really quickly. Lots of them are anonymous. They won't even tell me who the fuck they are. They're terrible people just right there. Okay, I don't trust them. Now, some of them I've looked up, and I found out they actually have a criminal record and they're horrible people. Others have contacted me with their sexual perversions that I'm not into. I'm very sexually open to a lot of stuff. Polyamory is fine. I don't give a fuck about homosexuality. None of this shit matters to me. But they are into non-consensual stuff. And you don't want to be in a community of people like that, I hope. And maybe you are one of those people. Well, get away from me. I'm not interested. And nothing with kids or anything like that. Like, leave the children alone. I want to build a special place for children to grow up protected and nice. And they can, dig holes like I did when I was a kid. And they can still learn all the academic things with homeschooling systems. They can learn multiple languages. They can be like super smart, genius kids, but they are not a sexual toy. And I don't know if the person who contacted me most recently about that was maybe some government agency looking for people to investigate. Maybe it was, but I had a chat with them, and then I was like, no, and then I blocked them. Because I don't want that stuff. And any young family doesn't want that stuff. And I want young families to move here. Energetic people who care about the future because they care about their children. And, I live in such an amazing space that it would be a shame not to share it. But I have to figure out, how can I share it? Oh, the sound has changed a little bit. It's going to overflow any minute. In fact, on this video, I could time how long does it take to go from empty to full, even though it should never be fully empty. And also it needs to be cleaned anyway. Like, there's junk in the bottom of it. I looked at my other cistern, my big one, that's empty, and it's full of junk at the bottom. And all that, I need to, before the rains come, I need to actually open it up, put a ladder in there, drain it completely. There's still a little bit of water in there. Drain it completely, and then sweep it out, sterilize it, and then see if it holds water when the rains come. If it holds water, that's fine. Everything is magically perfect, and I'll get a bunch of water again. If it doesn't hold water, then I have to re-cement it. The previous time I mentioned, when it didn't work for 3 years, we ended up re-cementing the whole bottom of it and the corners. And I should just fill the corner. There shouldn't be even 90-degree angle corners. We should just do it completely. There is a product we can actually seal it with that I can't get in this country, and I tried a long time ago, years and years ago, I tried to get it, but nobody was cooperative with getting things. But I'm also more skilled, potentially, if I have money, I am more skilled at getting things from far away. That's going to overflow any minute. How long is this taking? Now that's my cistern up there. That's 1,100 liters probably. I made that up. It's somewhere around there. And if you designed a good water system anyway, then you would never need to use a pump, because water would be collected uphill and then it would drain downhill into a series of cisterns that were like this one, like plasticky cisterns that were hopefully buried or protected under a roof or in the basement of a building, and those won't break in an earthquake. Because the problem is that the stone one I have, or ferro cement ones, which are also popular, those will break in an earthquake. And so you thought you solved your water problem. You thought you had lots of water available. But one earthquake and your entire community goes down and has no water. And having no water means you die. Okay, it's not an option. And this is the kind of thinking you get into if you lived off grid long enough, is nobody's going to be available to help you. And luckily, right now, where I live, there is a water crisis going on. People are waking up. And none of them, unfortunately, are thinking correctly. They want to like protest to the government or something. It's like, the government is weak. They can't fucking help you, nor do they care about you. You know? In fact, they like having you be weak. It makes them strong, and they're the one solution. It's like, no, you go off grid, you take care of yourself, you get other people, hopefully, not just one weirdo in the forest, because that's just too tiring, man. And you get other people to work with you with the same goals, the same plan, to have innovative designs for living both in ancient ways, right? Some of the oldest technologies known to people that we came up with, you know, how to grind grain with some horses and stuff, you know, and just really old ways that we need to recover, but also carefully including the newest of ways. So living like the Amish, but we can wear colors. We don't have to believe in invisible beings. We can find other authoritarian structures that we create of ethics, values, systems of communication. We can create, in that sense, a religious level set of cultural values, and then we can actually work together and build a new world. Sounds good, doesn't it? With better design than I have here. I mean, I'm very open that I've messed up a lot of stuff. I mean, like, I should never, I mean, I'm running a generator out of a van at the moment. That's just ridiculous. When is that going to overflow? I can't turn the camera off until it overflows. I need to know how long this takes. I mean, this gets into architecture. Buildings should be designed so that you have the heat of the sun coming in and the coolness of the earth. They should be dug halfway into the earth, or 2/3 into the earth even, so that you have a lot of stable temperatures. Off to the sides you have root cellars, which serve as refrigerators, because we can do that. And even if we were willing to use photovoltaic, which I know is bad long term since we can't make them, but we can have things. I mean, every degree you reduce the temperature, your food preservation time goes way up. And if I build a building size solar dehydrator, I can dehydrate food and then put it in the root cellar, and it will last years. And that's important. We need to be able to survive. If you start out just thinking survival wise, you know, a year-long cycle is good. You look at your rain, you look at your temperature, you know, surviving a year is good. That's really good. But for extra credit, you could be able to survive some bad years Like, what if one year there's just fucking almost no rain? Or what if there's a volcano, which there's been before? Like, was it Krakow? Or is that some kind of Holocaust thing? I don't know. There was a really big volcano, and it blew up, and it was like winter for a few years or something. And a bunch of people probably died. I mean, humans are really fragile. And we're actually more fragile now, per capita, fragility per capita, than we were before. Because we have this massive civilization built up. But any system that fails will cause failures of other systems. And then we have cascading failure. And billions will die. That is what is going to happen. No question about it. So if you can actually prepare yourself with the right architecture, with the right people, with the right plant mix, where you're collecting the best plants from all over the world, and you're growing them without irrigation, without outside fertilizer, you've got your best animals, which are chickens, rabbits, horses, and donkeys. Maybe alpaca for fiber, because you want to make some clothing, but you can also make rabbit fur clothing, which is awesome. I've done that. That works great. My little dog's looking up there like she knows something's going to happen. Hi, little dog. What's up? Something going to happen? Yeah, something's going to happen. So if you're able to like get out of your industrial world mindset of weakness, of being a victim slave asshole, you're probably some mix of those things. No offense, but fuck you. I mean, you're part of killing this planet off, right? And you're not thinking ahead. Not you personally, maybe you're different, maybe you're a weirdo like me, but I mean, you're watching this video, right? So, but if you are insulted, then wonder why. Why are you insulted? I mean, I'm just saying stuff I think is true, that I think is going to happen in the future, that will happen. There will be a solar flare. Sometime there will be a solar flare like the Carrington event. You can look up Carrington event. There'll be a solar flare like that, or even bigger, because the geologists say there was a bigger one before that. Wait, I hear water pouring. Yep, it's overflowing. Okay. Yank it. Okay. That problem is solved. We have water pouring down now. Right up there. And then we'll go shut the generator off. God, I hate generators so much. They're so noisy. They use gasoline. I don't like that. Here, we'll try and shut the door of the van a little bit. I don't want to shut it completely because I don't want to have gasoline fumes in the van all that much. But we'll just kind of almost shut it. That'll work. Great, I have water again. It's dirty water because the cistern was dirty and it probably moved all that stuff around. It might even clog up my pipes, which would suck. So that's one benefit of like tiny people. I need tiny people to get into the cistern and clean it, because I can't get in there. I didn't think I could fit in there, and I sure as heck wouldn't be comfortable doing it. All right, how am I doing? Excellent. And now I can upload this video for you to, you know, fill your head with some thoughts about the situation we're in as a civilization, and how we might be able to get out of it somehow. Although really, I don't think, if you really look at all the data and all the fragility that we have, right? Not just the male fragility that people seem to want to be insulting about, but everyone's fragility. I think that you know, I know it makes you sad, and I know you don't want to think about it. It's very upsetting to think about the collapse of civilization and the death of billions of people, and perhaps the extinction of the human race. I mean, we are evolved to want to survive, right? And that's perfectly reasonable. But if you're willing to be really honest and take a look at how things actually are going, you will realize that we're in a very bad position, and that there is nothing that can be done to stop it. There's no protest that's going to matter. There is no, you can't go block streets or something, which is a really rude way to protest anyway. And you can't convince your neighbors. I mean, I've been using composting toilets for 20 years. You know, I don't poo in clean water. I don't pee in clean water because I'm not stupid. And I can't convince even anyone to build composting toilets of the kind I have that are very low maintenance, like none. And they work great. And, they're better than some five-gallon bucket system or something, although that has its place too. I mean, there's a wide variety of solution sets that we have to explore, and it depends on the situation and all that. But, nobody cares. Government organizations, nonprofits, they will all care. They'll pretend to care if they get a tax break out of it. If they can raise your taxes to promise you they'll fix a climate problem. They're not going to do shit. They are the climate problem, okay? And so are you. So wake up, take a look at what's actually going on in the world, and take some personal responsibility for your life. Now, what can you really do? I realize it's easy to feel like you can't do anything, but I can guarantee you can do things. I mean, today I collected some palm tree seeds in the street, and I can go get more. I have to get a stick to knock them down with. And I can grow a greater diversity of plants here that are useful in any way at all, even just for biodiversity that we don't personally benefit from, but includes all the life that exists, the mushrooms, the insects, the birds, everything. Birds and the bees, baby. Let's fuck with that shit. And if you're willing to do that, then, you can do it from your apartment. And you can meet people and partner with people who have land under the current corrupt land ownership structures. Oh, I think there's a dead pine over there. Why is that pine dead? It's been so dry. This is the worst year in 20 years. It's so dry and hot. So I'm losing a lot. I'm in a bad spot, really. And being misanthropic doesn't help. People are not attracted to that. Like, what do they say? You attract more flies with honey than with vinegar? No, that's not true. Depends on what you want those flies to do. Reproduce? Do you want to feed the flies? Or do you want to kill them? I want to kill the fuckers. And most of the people in this planet, when they die, it's no loss. They created the death that they are going to experience. And it's going to be sad to watch. It's going to be painful, painful, painful to watch it. And everybody's going to blame everybody else, not themselves. But there's a window of opportunity to create cultural lifeboats. And we can use wisdom from every culture, from all around the world that's ever existed, scientific knowledge to the degree we can trust it, which some of it's good, we can do that. I would recommend it. Or you can just die. You know, go through the stages of grief of the death of civilization, accept it, and give up. Tempting. But I don't have anything else to do at the moment, so I'm going to try. What are the dogs barking at? Probably a squirrel. The dogs really aren't the brightest out there, you know. They're really brilliant. I love them, but they don't know every goddamn thing. They're better than people, though. Although I'm trying really hard. I'm trying to talk to people. I've been talking to people, and some of them are just horrible. It's terrible. If you're not a terrible person, and you really want to give up a lot of your ways of doing things, and you're willing to, well, in my case, you actually have to agree with a bunch of, shit that I think is true, and make social contracts to behave in ways that aren't totally evil, then contact me if you want. I'll probably make a form. I have a form right now, but it's not very good. I need to make a form that actually talks about what values you live by, because people are terrible about introducing themselves, especially the ones who want to remain anonymous but then come and invade my life and live here for free forever. Those people are all cut out. Fuck them. They'll die. I do not care. They chose their path, and I want to seek out those people who have worked hard, who have good values, who I can trust, who don't want to hurt other people, who have empathy for others, who have empathy for even beings that aren't human. I'm that kind of hippie. Yeah. Like, I care about the entire ecosystem and its beautiful complexity and this amazing planet that is like none other. Give up on Mars for now. We can't even save ourselves. So if you're that kind of person, then maybe we can talk. But other than that, don't bother me.